To walk you through the process of creating a contact sheet in Adobe Photoshop. So you're going to want to start by making sure that all your file names are named correctly. So notice I have first initial, last name, course, CP1 stands for Commercial Photography 1, and the project name for this example is Look See, and then I have the images numbered from 01 all the way through 24. That is the standard number to have on a contact sheet. So once you have this done, you're going to click the file name and select download. When this downloads, it's going to come down in a zipped file. So when I click on my downloads window over here, you'll see Look See monochrome, and notice that the icon has this little zipper across it. So that means that it has compressed the files to download from the internet to speed up the process. But once it gets down on our computer, we need to extract it. So you're going to right click on that and select extract all. It's going to prompt you where to extract these files to. And my suggestion is that you put them into your pictures folder back into your commercial photography 1 folder. I already have mine there, so I'm going to click cancel here, but that's where you should put that. So this folder here, this commercial photography 1 folder, should mimic the setup of the folder on your Google Drive. Okay, that's up to you. That's your organizing, but that is my suggestion. So once we're here, I'm going to go back to my pictures here. Commercial photography 1, and then it's going to preserve this file name that was in Google, and then now I have all my images here. So now I'm ready to make my contact sheet. So I'm going to go to Photoshop. You don't need to select a new file, but you're going to go to File up here in the menu, Automate Contact Sheet 2, and select it. Once we are here, a window is going to pop up and you have some settings to double check. So we're going to make sure we're using a folder because we want all the images in that folder to be on our contact sheet. You have to tell Photoshop where it's pulling the images from. So you're going to go to Choose, navigate to where you extracted those photos from. So being organized is really important because you have to be able to find these images again. And then since we're doing a folder, I'm just going to select the name of the folder that I want and click OK. And then if I had subfolders, like if I had organized these, maybe like within this folder, maybe I had like line, shape, form, value, and I had organized my pictures into separate folders within the project folder, I would want to make sure this includes subfolders is selected. But I don't have any subfolders, so I'm going to leave that alone. And then down here in document and thumbnails, we have some settings to confirm. So we want to make sure our units are set to inches. The width and height are 8 by 10. Resolution 300, color profile, whatever it is default on your computer is probably fine for this. Flatten all layers because that helps reduce the file size. RGB color 8-bit is totally fine. Down here in thumbnails, we want to make sure it's placing across first. We want to set the columns to 4 and the rows to 6 because we want to have 24 images shown on our contact sheet. You want to make sure this rotate for best fit is selected. It is on because that's going to make any vertical images. It's going to rotate them to the side so that all your images, vertical and horizontal, are the same size on your contact sheet. And then use file name as caption. Absolutely check that on. That's really important. Your font Arial is probably set by default. That's totally fine. You might want to change the point size to 9. I wouldn't go lower than that, but 9 is probably good because we want to make sure that it's not too big to fit under each thumbnail, but not too small that we can't read it. So all of this looks great. So we're going to go ahead and click OK. And remember, this is an automated system. So Photoshop is going to give you this little spinny thing. And if you watch your layers panel over here, you should see some things happening as it's building your contact sheet. Do not click on anything while this is going through this process. It has to have, your computer needs time to process. This thing here, we have a contact sheet. It is organized by columns and rows. We've got 24 images shown on here. We've got 4 columns, 6 rows across it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 6 rows across. It looks great. So now we have to be able to save this and turn it in. So just like naming each individual file is important, naming your contact sheet correctly and saving it correctly is also really important. But before I go further, if your contact sheet does not look like this, you need to pause this video or go back and try it again. Figure out where you may have made a misstep. Do a little bit of problem solving. All right, so once we're in here, so this is the first time we've saved something in Photoshop. So we're going to do a little preference change. We're going to go to Edit, preferences and we're going to look for file handling and click on that. You will get a pop-up window that comes up, and we're going to make sure this enable legacy save as is turned on. And then we also want to do this do not append copy to file name when saving a copy. So we're going to check both of those. And this, when this pops up, we're going to hit don't show again and hit OK. So make sure these are both saved. By default, I like to save files on my computer. If you are into saving them to your Creative Cloud so you can access them from multiple places, you may make that preference yourself. I'm going to leave mine on my computer. And then I'm going to click OK. So now with that preference, and now we're ready to save this, we're going to go to File, Save As, and we're going to get our window that pops up. Now we want to make sure we save this as a JPEG type file. So we're going to find JPEG, and then we're going to rename this. Do not erase where anything, the dot or the JPG. That is super important to leave it exactly as it is. So we're going to change where it says contact sheet 001. I'm going to go into commercial photography 1, back into my project folder here. And if I click one of these, notice how it copies that file name down here. But instead of an image name, because this is a contact sheet, I'm going to change that to CS for contact sheet. And then make sure my JPEG is still here. Make sure I still have .jpeg in my file name and click save. When this pops up, we always want to make sure this is saved to maximum and then click OK. Photoshop has saved that image as. So since we're not saving this as a Photoshop file, it's not going to show the file name here. However, when I go to my work or my project folder, I will see in that folder where I've saved that contact sheet as a JPEG file. So here it is, Christian, course name, project name, CS for contact sheet. And this is what I'm going to turn in to my assignment. All right, I hope that helps. If you have any trouble, let me know, but good luck.